today, what you're all here for, which I'm sure you're probably aware, is to celebrate the launch of the great publication, which is Confessions of a Recovering Data Collector, which is the first book to be published about the notorious data collecting practice of Ellie Houghton. It's published by Plymouth College of Art, and together with Space tonight we're supporting the launch, and also we're going to have a great session in a second. The publications are on sale over there. There's two publications. You can buy this publication for £5, and if you want to buy the other one, is that correct? You can get two publications for £10, which is very good, and I'll remind you about that at the end. First of all, I just wanted to welcome Ellie Houghton and Sally O'Reilly, who are here today to give us a brief, give an introduction to the infliction known as data collection, from which Ellie has suffered for so many years, and to the outline of the groundbreaking new therapy, which to help Ellie to overcome her obsessive habits and become a better artist. So I'd like to just welcome Ellie Houghton and Sally O'Reilly.
Welcome to this evening session. This is a sort of open therapy session. We'll be going over some of the processes that Ellie and I went through together when she was undergoing treatment with this therapy that I've devised from years of teaching and talking to and writing about artists and their work. And I think we can all agree that we're here because we think art is a good thing. Art is a very productive state to be in, if you like. I think of art as a state rather than a sort of an object over there. But it's not without its problems, and so that's why I've developed this hysterical historical praxis therapy, to try and realign some of the more kind of calcified joints, if you like, of art and art practitioners. So it's called hysterical historical praxis therapy, which gives you a clue to how it works. And we have the hysterical aspect, which alludes to the immediate, visceral, emotive ways in which we think about art, both as observers, as viewers, and as practitioners and commentators. And then we have the historical aspect of it. So there's the immediate, the individual, and there is the broader overview. What does it mean to be an artist in the 21st century, after the 20th century, and we can look back further and further. We are as humans, as individuals, forever trying to place ourselves in our context, and we can bring that context in very close. We can talk about the art world, or we can talk about the universe. And hysterical historical praxis therapy, it allows the artist to look beyond the immediate perimeter of their own practice, to break through certain boundaries that broaden their horizons and I think enriches their practice. So just to quickly word over some of the possible problems that artists come to me about. You see artists becoming entrenched in signature styles and methodologies. And this is due to pressures of the art market quite often. But often it's due to insecurity. So an artist will think, oh, that works, and do it endlessly, ceaselessly throughout their career, maybe sort of honing it, maybe the odd side step, by half an inch, but it feels very hemmed in by its own self-consciousness. So those sorts of entrenchment problems are what HHPT deals with, which is what Ellie came to me with. She perceived this binding force that was perhaps holding her back, and she wanted to break through this. And so we went through these 5 steps to re-evaluate what she was doing along many axes. So the individual in society, the self and others, the historical and the contemporaneous, practice and theory, something we all struggle with, I think, aligning those two things so that they're not permanently and forever sort of bumping into each other and compromising each other. And also think the instinctive and the intellectual approach to art making, and also looking at art being, oh, I like that, but not quite sure why, if you had to talk about it. You know, these disjunctures. And I think art and the world at large was the main point, was your main bone of contention, wasn't it? If I look at my notes here. I mean, your main problem was this data collecting, like, shackle it became. You started in 2000. It started in 2001, didn't it? If I look back here, when you were just finishing your degree at Nottingham Trent University, and it seems that these first forays were full of jouissance, you know, like E22. Can you tell me just briefly a little bit about E22 and how you remember feeling about that project when you embarked upon it?
Well, I think probably the first thing I should say is that I never really set out to be a data collector. It was one of those things that just kind of fell into, really. The first project, or the first data collecting exercise that I undertook was E22. And I was very young indeed at this point, and I wasn't that conscious of the kind of hole that I was beginning to dig for myself. So I very innocently set about attempting to take a photo of everything that I ate. For the year following my 22nd birthday, and alongside the photographs I began to collect information about the different foods, different locations where the photos were taken, and the dates and times, which I diligently recorded into an expanding spreadsheet.
And so this did feel like a sort of rather jolly piece, didn't it? You know, it looks fantastic here on the projection. You with many hairstyles, clothing, food. You know, it feels like it's about multiplicity. It feels about proliferation of possibilities. These each represent days in which, you know, other stuff was happening around it. But I think it becomes more and more acute, doesn't it? That you have a sort of rundown here of various projects that become more and more intense.
Yeah, I mean, I can give a sort of overview of how the data collecting got out of hand, if you like. So from E22, as I said, this was 2001. When I was only 22 years old, I wasn't really aware what I was letting myself in for. I managed to do it. I managed to take a picture of everything that I ate for a year. And then shortly after that, I launched into another year-long project where it was almost as though I was trying to feed an urge in me to collect more information. So I started to record the distance of all the journeys that I travelled on London Transport. And again, for a year, I began to add together these distances until, by the end of the year, I'd reached a massive 9,210 kilometres, which I calculated was as far as travelling from Ealing Broadway to Shanghai in a straight line. I made a series of posters that kind of documented this unit of distance. And it was then that I started really playing around with numbers and being very excited about data. So things started to get a little more serious when I began the Daily Quantification Record Project on the 1st of January 2003. And I thought it would be a good idea to fill out one of these small records each day for 2003. So I began collecting information about 16 different quantifiable aspects of my everyday life. There's 365 of these. I'm not going to show them all today.
I had to look through them all.